Regards everybody, my name is Nolver Arleimani Zapata. In this task 3, read aloud, I made the Fairytale, Naila the Ant and Her Great Witch. Once upon a time, a little ant called Naila, who lived in a beautiful country called Putumayo, had spent his childhood with his parents, father ant and mother ant. On a certain occasion, the little ant Naila, where she sat down to rest in the family hangar, and asked herself the following question: why are ants the most hardworking living beings in the nature and at the same time the less rewarded? It was at the precise moment that her mind began to dazzle new ideas about the possibility to transform the life of ants into a much more pleasant environment, with less work and with the possibility of accessing benefits like those of the inhabitants of large cities. At that moment, Naila returned home and began to remember the teacher's word. It was there that she went to Holdat, the oldest ant in the place, and asked him, "Mr. Holdat, have you ever heard about fate, or do you know how I can obtain it?" Little Naila, fate is achieved according to the purpose of each being. Why the question is that I want to make the world of ants a better place to live, and the teacher told me that fairies and can help me fulfill this task, and I find fairies through fate. All that thought for a few minutes and responded to Naila. Little Naila, when I was a child, I had that same concern. I concentrated so much on thinking that fairies did exist, until one day a magical and supernatural being prostrated about me and told me, "Little Holdat, with your faith you have brought me to your own presence. I am the Amazonica fairy, the fairy in charge of protecting this country, and granting wishes to beings who have a great heart for and great faith." At that moment, my wish was to ask the fairy that the ants continued being ants and living in the country of Putumayo, a country with a lot of food for us and pure air. Naila was thoughtful and very much agreed with Mr. Holdat's argument. That same night, while Naila slept, she dreamed of the Amazonica fairy. Upon waking up, she realized that a small light was shining outside her house. Naila immediately got up from her bed and went out to take a close look at that small and disturbing light. When sitting more closely, it was a being similar to a human woman, about 30 centimeters high, that flew and had wings. Naila was very surprised, but at the same time, she was delighted with that tiny being. To which Naila asked, "Who are you?" The little being replied, "I am Amazonica, the fairy of nature and life." Naila was very fascinated by having Amazonica so close. Recalled the words of all that, and she realized that the place where she lived was a most beautiful place in the world and the work that the ants did. Despite being a very hard work, they enjoyed it and allowed it to maintain the country Putumayo in balance. It was then that Naila changed her desire and asked Amazonica, I want you to keep Putumayo as is, and for the ants continue living in this place doing the same work that we are so passionate about. To which Amazonica answered, wise words, Nela, so it will be. The end. Thank you very much for your attention.